The big beautiful bill just passed, and whether you are aware of it or not, it just rewrote the rules of the economy. In 2021, the Biden administration passed a $2.1 trillion infrastructure bill. And when that happened, while everyone was looking at how they're going to get new roads and new bridges, the elite were hyper-focused on where that money was going, and they positioned themselves accordingly. Right after that, infrastructure stocks soared, commodities ripped, and inflation continued to tick up. By the time the average investor caught on, the move was already made. Now here we are again, with a new bill, a new president, a new flood of money coming in, and the same exact playbook as last time. Last episode, we broke down what the elite know about this bill. Now, let's talk about what you can do to get aligned with the 1%. Let's talk about the two moves that the elites are making and why it is so important that you do not mess this up. We talked about how we know this bill is going to be inflationary. The question is, what do we do about it? There's one key thing to understand about what inflation means for the elites. When inflation rises, so do long-term interest rates. And when rates rise, bonds fall. And when bonds fall, you don't want to own them. Owning long-term debt in an inflationary environment is like trying to run up Mount Everest with ankle weights on. Why would you do that? Not only do bond prices fall when rates rise, but you also have to think about the fact that you have inflation. So any of the monthly or quarterly payments that you're getting from your debt instruments are actually going down in value. So let's say you're earning $100 a month from a bond. Well, by the end of the year, that $100 is actually only going to be worth $97 because the price of goods in the economy has risen by 3%. There's something that I have to tell you that the elite are using against you. All these asset managers that sell fixed income, they don't really care about whether or not you make money. They care about whether or not they're earning fees from their transactions. So what happens in the fixed income market is something called the certainty effect. So the thing is our brains are wired to value certainty over a better outcome when there's risk involved. As an example, you're more likely to buy and hold a bond that gives you monthly payments at 5% interest for the year than you are to own the S&P 500, which has an unknown value at the end of the year, but on average is likely to outperform that 5% from the bond. And listen, if you just really need income from your investments, then the most efficient instrument in an inflationary environment are the Treasury inflation protected securities. These will at least keep up with the CPI, but in a second I'm going to talk about why that's probably not actually enough. Here's the real big insider tip. In these inflationary environments where rates are rising, what the elite are doing is they're taking any cash that they have and they're buying assets, or they're actually lending it out. So they actually put themselves on the other side of the equation. Instead of borrowing money, they start lending it. And that is how the 1% think. Next, in an inflationary environment, one of the last things you want to do is hold on to cash that you don't need as your purchasing power is diminished. As we just mentioned, the elite are going to be putting their money into assets like stocks and or lending it out to other businesses. Now, here's the thing. The 1% are not out here buying individual stocks, trying to find the next Nvidia. No, they are allocating their money with the flow of the market, which is going to be into ETFs like the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500. There's another psychological trap at play here that's separating you from your money. It's called overconfidence bias, where even though it's very well documented that more than 80% of all professional money managers underperform the market indexes every year, we still want to go out there and start buying all these individual stocks. My tip is that if you're going to do that, I would recommend using a very small portion of your portfolio to play that game, because like I said, the odds just aren't in your favor. Here's the thing. You do not need to be a genius to win at this game over the next 5 to 10 years. You just have to not make bad decisions, which means sitting back and relaxing and letting your money work for you instead of trying to be some active investor and then end up chopping your accounts up so that by the end of this run, you've got significantly less to show for what you put in. Now let's zoom out, because the most important thing that very few people understand is the dollar itself. Most people never really think about the dollar the way that the 1% do. Everyone's looking at gas prices and groceries, but the elite, they look at the actual dollar index. It's called the DXY, and it measures the dollar versus other currencies around the world. Right now, there is a dangerous combo that's brewing where the value of the dollar on the global scale is going down, And at the same time, we have inflation domestically, the CPI, rising, which means that your wealth is being squeezed in two different ways. This video is just one out of a multi-part series that we're going to do, breaking down macroeconomics like some of the stuff that we talked about in this video. If you've ever felt lost and you just want to get a better grip on what's happening, like, subscribe, and comment down below specifically one thing that you feel like you want to get a better understanding of in macroeconomics or in investing. Also, if you need help developing a plan, in the description, there's a link to a completely free 2-part wealth building system that you can use to figure out exactly what your next steps are going to be. And if you need even more help and you want one-on-one support, I want you to download those materials, go through them, and then schedule a call with me or someone from the team, and we'll be glad to help you out.